People say Hampi was destroyed in a single night, that an entire empire vanished suddenly, like it was erased. But that's not true. And the real story of Hampi is far more disturbing than a simple invasion. Because Hampi didn't fall in one day. It collapsed slowly, painfully, and almost predictably. Let me explain. In the 14th century, Hampi was the capital of the Vijayanagara Empire, one of the richest cities on earth at the time. Foreign travelers wrote about streets filled with gold, markets overflowing with gems, and temples so advanced they confused even skilled architects. Some historians compare its wealth to Rome at its peak. So the question is, how does a city like that turn into ruins? Most people blame a single battle. But battles don't destroy civilizations. Decisions do. The beginning of the end came from confidence. Too much of it. Vijayanagara had grown powerful by defeating neighboring kingdoms repeatedly. Victory after victory created a dangerous illusion that the empire was untouchable. Meanwhile, 5 Deccan sultanates, once enemies, were quietly doing something unexpected. They were watching, learning, and eventually uniting. For years, Vijayanagara rulers underestimated them. They believed their massive army and fortifications made them invincible. That belief would cost them everything. In 1565, the Battle of Talikota took place. On paper, Vijayanagara had the advantage. Larger forces, experienced commanders, and superior resources. But wars aren't won on paper. Midway through the battle, something shocking happened. 2 key generals defected. They switched sides. Panic spread. Formation collapsed. And within hours, the army that once terrified kingdoms was in chaos. The king was captured, beheaded, and the backbone of the empire snapped. But here's what most people don't know. Hampi wasn't destroyed during the battle. It was destroyed after. When the invading armies reached the city, they didn't rush. They stayed. For months. Systematically dismantling everything that represented power. Temples, libraries, markets, statues, symbols. This wasn't random violence. It was deliberate erasure. Buildings were smashed not for loot, but to send a message. This empire will never rise again. Even today, you can see marks of intentional destruction. Broken pillars, defaced sculptures, temples shattered beyond repair. And yet, some structures survived. The stone chariot, the musical pillars, the water systems. How? Because they weren't just beautiful. They were engineered beyond their time. The musical pillars, for example, aren't hollow. They're carved from single blocks of granite, precisely shaped to resonate when struck. Modern engineers still argue over how they were made. And that's where the mystery deepens. If the technology was so advanced, why wasn't it preserved? Why wasn't it passed down? Because knowledge doesn't survive chaos. When cities fall violently, skills disappear with the people who hold them. Artisans were killed or scattered. Scholars fled. Records burned. An entire civilization's intelligence was lost. That's why Hampi feels unsettling today. It's not just ruins. It's silence. A city that once echoed with music, trade, and ritual now stands frozen. Like history stopped mid-sentence. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Hampi wasn't destroyed only by invaders. It was destroyed by arrogance. internal betrayal, and the belief that power lasts forever. Empires don't collapse when they're weak. They collapse when they think they can't fall. That's why Hampi matters. Not as a tourist site, not as a postcard, but as a warning carved in stone. Because every pillar you see isn't asking, who destroyed this? It's asking, what would destroy us the same way? If this story changed how you see Hampi, there are many more forgotten truths buried in history. And once you start noticing them, you'll realize some ruins are not reminders of the past. They're mirrors.